Hey, I've got a joke. So two ticks went into there, and what? I don't understand a word of what the cat spit out. It sounds so muffled as if the face was burned and what? You suck. No, you suck.
Ticks are blood-sucking parasites of many vertebrate species, which include your pets and yourself as well. They get attached to the host for a relatively long time and are able to carry and transmit dangerous diseases such as borreliosis, babesiosis, ehrlichiosis, and similar arrangements of random letters plus osis. Also, their spit may contain paralysis-inducing toxins. On the positive side, they make stylish alternative beards if arranged correctly. So let's get to learn more about the breathtaking adventures of ticks and their calculated demise. This is part 1. Ticks are tiny arachnids. Arachnids are insect-like creatures best known for their 8 limbs, which make them highly sought-after church organists. Going further down the taxonomical chain, we soon get to the order of ticks, made up of roughly 900 species, quite impossible to discuss all of them, so we're going to focus on what are called hard ticks, as they are the most relevant for cats, dogs and their owners, and there aren't more of them than 700 species. The 700 species don't have the exact same anatomy, but they all share a basic common build. A gorgeous body, 4 pairs of legs, a head consisting mainly of brutal blood-sucking mouthparts, and a shield on their back called the scutum to protect them from flying concrete mixers, who the hell knows. Anyway, it's larger on males but smaller on females, which allows the lady tick's body to freely expand when getting filled with blood. And expand it does. That ginormous greyish-brown wart with 8 tiny whiskers on your dog, you know, the one that might collapse into a black hole should it grow any larger, might actually be an engorged female tick. When not bursting with blood, ticks are only a few millimeter to half a centimeter long depending on species. But these are just the adults. Ticks have 3 more life stages. They start out as eggs, smaller than a millimeter, and they hatch as equally impressive larvae. Imagine yourself miniaturized and with fewer legs. That would be your larva version if you were a tick. Then they molt and become nymphs, somewhat larger and 8-legged. Adults arise after the second molt, have kinky sex that puts 50 Shades of Grey to shame, the female lays eggs, and the cycle starts all over again. To get a better grasp of the sizes of the various life stages, here they are placed on the thumb of a veterinary intern. Ticks require a blood meal for each molt and for reproduction. Some tick species have figured it out that it's pretty convenient to just stay on the same host for all 3 stages of development. Other tick species are stupid and look for a different host after each molt because it's, I don't know, posh. And there's a third group taking the path in the middle, using the same host as larvae and nymphs and a different one as adults. So there you have it. 1 host ticks, 2 host ticks and 3 host ticks. Host ticks. The whole cycle can take from a few months up to 3 years depending on tick species. What? Do they really spend years attached to the host? That's like having a permanent piercing that occasionally takes a shit. But no, the time ticks spend on the host is just days or weeks. The rest of those years they are just procrastinating in the grass, looking at crying Michael Jordan memes. But let's go into a bit more detail with the help of a typical 3-host tick. When not on the host, ticks are most comfortable in the moist and cool ground cover. How do they get there? We'll discuss that later. For now, let's follow them on their epic search for a suitable host. They climb up a grass blade and spectacularly wait. On each front leg they have what is called a Haller's organ, which is like a glorified nose that detects air currents, humidity, heat, carbon dioxide and ammonia, signs of a nearby host. Parasitologists thought it would be fitting to call waiting for a hug while doing absolutely jack shit, questing. Look, I'm questing.
Good luck.
Ticks are very sensitive to dehydration. Exposure to sunlight or dry air will force them back deep into the ground cover, where they'll absorb water that collects on them. They don't drink in a conventional manner. Once the weather is safe, they return to questing.
Oh, for f***'s sake.
But they can't go on doing this forever. So if no hosts ever walk by, ticks will use up all their resources and drop dead eventually. But thank God there's a shitload of them, so some always manage to survive by latching onto a host that brushes up against them. Once on the host, they go on a sightseeing tour checking out the major landmarks, looking for a less exposed, protected skin surface where they can hide from scratching paws, biting teeth and such. Should they succeed, they will slowly dig their elongated mouthparts into the surface, a painless process that in itself can take days before ingesting blood even begins. The piercing part, called the hypostome, is serrated on its bottom, and many tick species also release a glue-like substance around it to provide firm attachment. This is the equivalent of nail-gunning your face to the dinner table. Well, ticks take their feeding seriously. Female ticks tend to have one long bite lasting several days or even weeks, while males run around like headless chickens, stopping for multiple shorter meals. The males of some species barely even feed. But then, what's the point of all this exercise? This son of a gun is looking for a pretty tick girl to mate with. Once he finds his chosen one, he will climb her sexy mountain of an ass, bite onto it upside down and use his freaking face to load his sperm into her magical cavern of love. Typical first date stuff. The male will go on copulating with as many females as he can find until death puts an end to his passionate adventures. The females wait until their bellies are filled with blood, after which they carefully detach themselves and take a dive off the host into the unknown. What's this? A floor tile in Bob's kitchen?
Oh,
Unlucky. But if the tick happens to land on grass, it will crawl inside the ground cover and the most beautiful story of motherhood will unfold. Unless you kill them with fire! But let's leave something for the next part. The technical information in this video was fact-checked by Kathryn Reif and Michael Dryden, experts in tickology. I thank them very much as I thank Siva for its support. If you've made it this far, why not like, comment or subscribe, or check out my other videos. I know it would make at least one of us happy.